are in the midst of or have done some business planning. And so it's like, what are we doing with our business? Where is it going? And how do we structure it? And I have only one exhibit to share with you because I want to keep it super simple. Rebecca, did you get that scan we sent through?
Yes. Let me just
Um,
drop it in the chat.
yeah, drop it in the chat. I'm gonna talk about that. So I would like every single one of you to close 10 loans a month. Braden, if you close 10 loans a month, what would your income be per month?
10 loans a month, probably somewhere around 35, 40,000, something like that.
Okay, so everybody write down their number, what their gross income would be if they close 10 loans a month. Braden's is 35,000.
That could be wrong too. I probably need to do my math here.
Well, listen, we're not hiding anything. What's your average gross commission on a loan?
Have it written down.
Braden's like, dude, you didn't tell me you were going to call on me.
Yeah, it grilled me.
I did tell Denise. Denise, what's your average commission on a loan?
38,590.
Right? She has a 3859. Woo! So that's almost 36 grand a month times 12. It's a $430,000 income. So raise your hand if you've had more than 5 clients this year that make that much money. Yeah, me either. Okay, Denise has had, but Denise, has it been a lot more or just a few more?
Probably just a few more.
Yeah. My point is that's a really good income, isn't it? And some people, it's more like 5,000 a loan or it's 6,000 a loan. And then we're starting to get into some stratospheric numbers. I know in some markets, 10 loans a month can make you 750 grand a year. That is a sweet income. So what we're going to design today is what the pillars are and the activity level is around a 10 loan a month business, which I know if I get all of you there and you do that for 10, 15, 20 years, you will retire wealthy. All right. I know what Ed's thinking. Don't get divorced. I love Ed. That guy, he's one tough son of a gun. Tough as nails. Anyway, you got to make sure all the other good stuff's going through. All right. So what is a pillar of business? It's like, hey, when I'm doing my business plan, it's what I'm chasing. It's what I'm doing. An obvious pillar for all of us is real estate agents. By the way, Braden, did you get your number?
Yes. 4,583 is my monthly or my per unit.
Okay. So that's 550 grand a year at 10 loans at 120 units. That's nice. $500,000. That still sounds sexy. It didn't sound huge in 2021, did it? But it sounds pretty damn good right now. And I think that's a really, really good number. One of the things I want you guys to get out of this presentation today is I want to make it simple enough that you can not just implement and execute it for yourself, but I've had a lot of fun teaching this to real estate agents. I've been doing one-on-ones and then small group meetings and teaching them pillars of business, giving them ideas and showing them what most of them don't do business planning at all. And so this is designed to you can do a 30-minute meeting and come out with a decent, solid business plan that's executable. I want you guys to write a couple things down. All our business runs on a rhythm. It's a daily, weekly, monthly rhythm, and then quarterly, semi-annual, and annual. So our daily rhythm is what we do every day. We have a routine. Most of us have a morning routine. If you don't, it's like the best thing you could do. All right. We're not going to get into calendar management, but I want to tell you why I'm telling you this because it leaves everything. Your weekly rhythm plays right into your pillars of business because every week you want to do something around your pillars of business. And then every month you want to do something around your pillars of business. Then monthly, you count the money. Quarterly, you review your progress and your goals. Semi-annually, you review progress and goals and perhaps reset goals. And then annually, you review and reset goals. You guys get all that?
No, can you go over that again, please?
Quarterly, you review goals. Semi-annually, you review and reset goals. And then annually, you always review and reset goals. Okay? So here's an example. A year ago, Sean Brennan, what was a good lead month for you? Let's say a year ago or 2 years ago.
Last 2 years, well, no, a year ago, I would say 35 to 40.
Okay. What's it? And have you been averaging 35 to 40 every month this year?
No.
And by the way, I'm not picking on Sean because everybody has a similar answer. In the last 3 months, what was your best lead month?
24.
Okay. And is your lead goal on your lead tracker still 35 or 40?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's wise if you're still chasing, if your average is that you've done the last 3 months is well below what your goal is, I want you guys all to drop your goal for now. Put it in some. So Sean, based on what you just said, I would make your goal 30. All right. And by the way, you can review and readjust quarterly, can't we? And semi-annually, or even monthly if you want. But here's why I say quarterly, because if you bust through 30 3 months in a row, then you can raise it back to 40. Got it? I don't know about you guys. I was doing 100 leads a month for a long time. Then it started slipping. Then it's 80. Then it's 75. And since July, my best lead month has been 62. My worst has been 38. So really, maybe I should be chasing maybe 50 or 60. Would you guys agree with that? If I still have 100 or 80 on my list and me and the team aren't hitting anywhere close to it, you're not really thinking about it. I mean, psychologically, you're kind of losing interest in it. You guys get what I'm saying? Okay. So when you're building this, you build it around leads and generation. So if you look at the attachment, it's handwritten. It's a section out of the lead tracker. And this is the goal section. So do you guys all have a peek at it? Okay, so I broke it up. If you look at the perfect model, it's half realtor, quarter database, quarter business partner. See the circle? All right. Now look at the lead goal line. I've got 4 CCRs, 4 PCRs, 5 PCs. So that's current client referral, past clients, 2 personal friends, 25 realtors. So it's heavy realtor on realtor. And I've got 10 business. If you're in a builder market, that 10 could be spread into the builder. Got it? If you add all those up, you'll notice it adds up to 50. So this is a 50 lead a month business. If you get your conversion rate from lead to funding at 20%, that's 10 loans a month. You guys follow? Okay. You can teach realtors the same thing. Their model's slightly different because obviously they don't chase other realtors or they don't count on them for 50% of their business. But there's other things that they would do. So let's go over the pillars. And by the way, there's more. I think having 4 pillars is very important. You can have more than that, but it can get out of hand. So pick the ones that work for you. And then in each pillar, there's going to be some subcategories. Like we're getting really big on AI and using social media, etc. Well, social media is a tool. You could kind of call it a pillar of your business, but really it's a better way to chase your database. It's a better way to get new leads. So you could make it a pillar of business, but it's also a tool that you're going to use to get in front of more realtors in a more efficient manner and get in front of your database more often, more effectively. Does that make sense? Business people. So for lenders, obviously one pillar is realtors. There's no question about it. Okay. So we make realtors a pillar of our business. And we have theme days around that. And we have marketing activities around that. We're not going to get too deep in that, but we're going to start about just what the pillars are. So we're going to write all our pillars down. And I do want some interaction here. Database is an obvious one. Now, if you're new in the business, and some of you are, not all of you, but some of you are new, the database is going to be the people you know. For most of us, database are folks that we've done loans for already. And some of us who are long in the tooth, as they call it, have a huge database, which is good. But if you're not in touch with them, they go away, just like anything else. All right. Really, they forget you in 6 months. If they haven't heard from you in 6 months, you're forgotten, sometimes faster. That's why we have that surefire marketing system and the drip campaigns and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. All right. So database is another pillar. So we have realtors and we have database. Okay. Then we have what I call your business people. That's everybody else in business who's not a realtor. That's a big list. The primary ones to me are money manager, financial planner types, accountant, CPA types, attorneys. There's 3 really good types of attorneys. They're all good, but 3 really good ones. And they also work well for realtors. That's family law attorneys. A lot of people call them divorce attorneys, but they're family law. Trust attorneys. And then corporate or business attorneys. One of my best friends, he's helped me out of a few jams. He's a great business attorney. He also does trusts, but most all of his business is around where he writes partnership agreements. He sets up S corps, LLCs, things like that. He helps a lot of people get through being sued by other businesses. Knows a ton of people. He's a great resource. I get probably 4 to 6 leads a year from him. The thing I like about attorney leads is if attorney says go use Dave, they don't question it, they don't shop, they just do what I say. So attorney leads can be really strong. All right. That's an example of business. All right. And then I suggest a 4th pillar can be a number of different things. I think you could make your Tuesday updates an actual pillar of business. I think it's a huge miss in our industry, and people are waking up to it. Our coaching system has always promoted that very strongly. And I think we can take it to a whole nother level. Somebody who does it really well in our company is Lacey Moores. I'm not bad at it. Robin and I have built a lot of our realtor base based on chasing the Tuesday update call. In other words, we chase the listing agent. You can build a whole business around that. Okay. So some other examples of pillars of business. You can make social media, if you want to, an entire pillar of business. I know a lot of people that are doing that, and it does work. I think it would be a mistake to ignore that piece of business. What's important is you have to make it on purpose and consistent. All right. One of my pillars of business is what I call wealth education. So I've kind of pinned myself as the wealth guy. I help build your wealth. So I have a radio show around it. And then I do a thing called Wealth Growth Wednesday. And then I pitch it to groups all the time. Moving back to the business pillar, I have a leads group that I've been part of for over a decade. It's a really strong group of people. And so that's an example of your business people, but it can be a whole nother, like I coached a roofer for 3 years. And I coached him up to where his business quadrupled. And during that time, I got his employees that could afford houses. I was getting leads from him on those people, etc. So those are just some examples of how you can work those pillars. But I think you should have 4 pillars. I want you all to write down what your pillars of business are going to be. I told you what some are. I can give you a few more ideas. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how you design your business around these. Okay. So we've got our 50 leads a month. We've got our pillars of business, and then we got to decide how many leads are going to come from each one of those pillars. So take a moment to write all of those down. And I want you to draw them like just like a pillar on a house, like in a column like this. All right. And you want 4. John, were you late to the call? Did you pick up on what we've been doing? Okay, cool. See if there's any questions in the chat so far. Nope, we're recording. Good to go. You can see the little exhibit. All right, great. So who's got their four? I know Denise is driving, so we're not going to ask her to write anything down, but who's got their four written down? Cleo, Ed, anybody else? John does. Frank, Todd, Mr. Brennan. Can I have a girl, please? Thank you, Chelsea. My goodness. Kim? All right. All right. So let's go with Cleo because he raised his hand first. Cleo, what are the four pillars that you picked?
Builder turn down business, database, realtors, and business people.
Okay, perfect. So your builder turn down business is a big one. Now, Cleo's in the San Antonio area, so there's a lot of builders going on there, right, Cleo?
Yep.
Okay, good. So, Cleo, how many leads did you put down as your goal?
From builder turn downs, at least 10 a month.
Okay.
Database 10, 20 realtors, and another 10 from business people.
Okay, so he's got his 50. And Cleo, you'd be okay with a 10 loan a month funding pipeline? That sounds sexy to you?
Right about now, yeah, I'll take it.
Right. Well, I think we're all excited about double digits of any kind, and I promise you, you'll get back there and then some. We're getting in front of it. So, all right, let's go to realtors. So, Cleo, on realtors, what is your business plan around realtors? And this is an obvious one, people, but I'm quizzing Cleo because he's the first one we talked to.
Business plan around realtors is to start a small gift campaign. Send them a bio. Chris Clock sent one out that I really liked, where it said, "Who is Chris Clock?" And is it him being a dad and doing all these different things. And then I looked at John's, and it was really cool as well. So, and then get to know more about them and take them offsite in a way and ask them, why they're in the business still, what keeps you going every single day, and just, pick their brain from that standpoint.
Okay. Do you use something called the accounts pyramid?
I haven't done it in forever, no.
Okay. So under the pillar of realtors, I have written down account pyramid. Okay. And so that's where you've arranged your realtors in A, B's, and C's. I know Chris Clock has an accounts pyramid. Chris, can you show your camera? Is your accounts pyramid on the wall? Oh, he's busy talking to somebody right now. Let's pick it up.
Making deals
Chris, I was
happen.
picking on you. Are you there? Okay. So, Cleo, here's why I brought the accounts pyramid, because the goal is to move people up the accounts pyramid.
Right.
And so on the realtor pillar, yep, hello, we've got a couple things. Number one, we need to have a marketing calendar. All right. So write that down, everybody. Here's what a marketing calendar looks like. Here's what I'm going to do throughout the year for realtors. Maybe once a week, it's a market update to my top realtors. Then once a month, it's a market update to all the realtors. Why don't you want to do every week to all the realtors, people? Anybody know? They'll all unsubscribe from you.
Yeah.
It's too many. But once a month, it's interesting enough. Okay. So your top 40, your group, who isn't going to unsubscribe you because it's you can send weeklies. And then monthly, you can send it to everybody. All right. It's wise to have a quarterly event and a monthly event. So a monthly event would be like a happy hour. Okay. A quarterly event would be like a get together at your office or maybe something outdoors. If it's the right time of year. Like a barbecue, you invite a truck to your parking lot and have a get together. Maybe you do something where you bring in an appraiser or you do a panel and you MC a group of education for realtors. Okay. And then semi-annual and annually, you want to do like a get-together party. Like we're doing as a branch, but in Eugene, but we're doing it as we're inviting realtors and their spouses. We made our happy hour kind of our Christmas party. Does that make sense? So in lieu of the happy hour, we're doing the Christmas party, and we're saying, hey, bring your spouse or partner. All right. But under realtor, you've got to have a marketing calendar. So, and what are you going to do with that marketing calendar? Ed, you have a question?
I just want to tell you, I threw the realtor pyramid, account pyramid in the chat. That's the one that I sent you. It's got everything.
Yeah, thanks
then
for
I
doing
gotta
that.
jump.
Ed's got a really good one. So you guys can copy
That's a
what
cool
he
one.
has. All right. Thank you, Ed, for doing that. All right. By the way, every one of your pillars is going to have an element of your marketing calendar. Now, what's something else we do with realtors? We call them every freaking Monday, don't we, people? At least we're supposed to.
Mhm.
That's the ones that we're already in relationship or the ones that we're pursuing. In addition to the ones that we're pursuing on the Tuesday updates, we can put them in both places. All right.
Hey,
We
Dave.
have to have a gift. Yes, go ahead.
Hey, I remember when I visited with you like a year and a half ago out in Carmel. It was Friday, and you were like, "Hey, man, I got to get going. It's Friday. I got to call my VIP list. Who's on your VIP list?"
Well, there's family. Probably I would say my best friends. There's a couple real estate agents on there because they're also some of my really very good friends. And just a lot of people in business. It's probably all. It's funny. They're all folks that would be in any one of these uh, pillars of business, but they have gotten close enough to me where I call them my VIPs. All right. So, but it is definitely made up of family and friends
Okay.
first, and then the really, really, really close real estate agents, the people that I go hang out with and do stuff with all the time. And I got a couple business people like that too, like car guys, right?
Car guys. That's right.
Yep. So,
Car guys.
and
I
by
have
the way,
past clients also.
yeah, I think all of us have this thing where there's something that we do. It's a recreational thing or it's something, a part of our life. I think I'm kind of known for it. I have like collector cars. I like to do that thing. Ed does horses. I don't know a lot of have something. I know Chris Clock does cigars. I don't know if he does poker, but I know he likes cig. Yeah, whatever you do, if it's something you enjoy, you naturally have other people in the business that do that too, and you attract them to you, and they gravitate. The truth, we're not going to get all the realtors, we're not going to get all the business people, but we're going to get the ones that are more like us that like to do the things that we like to do. So that's why it's really good to incorporate all this stuff, and that's the VIPs, Cleo, to your question, the ones that have a common interest. So it's either familial or it's a common interest otherwise. And it's not well known, but another common interest that I have is I like winter sports. My wife does not. So, but I have a small group of people that we do winter sports together. It's mostly downhill skiing. It used to be snowmobiling before somebody broke their back. So we kind of backed off on that. Some outdoor stuff, sand dune buggy things. There's a group of guys that I used to do paintball with. We still stick together. A lot of us got too old because everybody was getting injured on that one too. But there's all sorts of things you can do. I know somebody who is in a basketball league. There's all sorts of things. I can give you idea after idea. There's golf. I'm not a big golfer. I belong to a golf club. They love me because I never golf there, but I pay the dues. That kind of stuff. But I don't have a lot of golfing buddies because I don't really I'm not in love with golf. But you could be. We do an annual trip, don't we, Sean? Me and Sean go on an annual golf trip. Mr. Brennan does. All right. And that's when I do my golf. Anyway, the reason I'm pointing all this out is Cleo asked about VIPs. That's how that group was formed. Uh, the mistake I made, if I could share this, is that my VIP list got really large. The last time I looked at it was over 120 people. It's really smart to kind of keep that around 50 or 60 because you're just not going to call them all. Because I down VIP is you carve that list into fourths and you call that 1/4 of it every Friday. So once a month they get touched by you. I have surveyed all of us as students and coaches. It is the one thing we do the worst. Jim said I do it the best. I think I'm mediocre at best. What I do really well is I honor people on their birthdays and I make at least 10 VIP calls every Friday. And I think that's lame because 1/4 of my VIPs is 30. I do a video once a month to all my VIPs, for example. So back to the marketing calendar, it's important that every one of these pillars gets
What do you
touched
say to
by
your
you through
VIPs
video.
on when you send them an email?
Pardon me?
What do you say on your email to your VIPs?
Who here has received one of my VIP videos? Okay. So Braden, Frank, Ed, actually, Denise, you should be on that list. Are you not on that list? All my students are on that list.
Actually, I'm probably not on your list anymore because I'm now with Summit. So
I'll get you guys on it. Anyway, here, so Cleo, what I do is I record it, and it's I usually send it around the first of the month. And you know how we do the wheel of life and the 7 areas of life? I kind of mentally have that memorized, and I just kind of go through that, and I don't touch on every area of life, but I try to update everybody in most of those areas. And then the last year, I've got that book. Where is it? It's sitting down here somewhere. It's that leadership book. I've been reading this consistently for about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
This is a very, very valuable text. It's a daily. There's something inspirational I'll read out of there. It's always
What's it called again?
relevant.
What's it called?
It's called Leadership Promises for Every Day. John Gordon, or John Maxwell, I'm sorry. And this is good for everybody. Like anybody who wants to lead a team or lead some salespeople, be a branch manager. I mean, honestly, if you lead a family, if you lead anybody, it's really good for you. So I'll often read out of that book. I'll read a passage and then I'll relate it to something. And if you watch, I feel bad sometimes because I'll always ask Kayla when I'm done recording, how long was that one? She goes, oh, that was only 8 minutes. It seems like a long one, but a lot of people watch it all the way through. And my goal is to like reveal as much about who I am and what my heart is at that time, and then send it out. And I begin and finish with, you're my VIP. That's why you're getting this. I'm sorry I don't call you more often. And here's my phone. I even put my personal cell phone number in that video. Pretty sure I do that every time. I don't know if I do it, but anyway, that's what I do. And then it goes out to all the VIPs. All right. And I do that once a month. All right. Now that's kind of personal. And I will tell you that breaks all the rules around what I usually teach on videos, but it's because it's a VIP video. All right. So my rule on videos, and you can change it if you want, but it works, is keep it 30 seconds or less and have a singular message for the call to action. Like if I was sending one to the database right now, I would say, we've got some brand new product here at Summit that can help you capture your equity in a really cost-effective fashion. Give me a call and I'll tell you how to work it. It works for people even with 2.5% interest rates on their first mortgage.
Yeah.
That's going to get anybody who needs to like borrow some money against their house.
30 seconds or less and what?
30 seconds or less, singular message, single call to action. So I just gave an example. So the database, I'm saying, hey, basically I'm talking about our new home equity loan product that we just rolled out, right? And I slip in there that it works for people with 2.5% interest rate. So everybody at 2.5 and higher is going to go, wow, maybe I should check it out, which is pretty much everybody. Then I say, give me a call if you're interested or whatever. That's the call to action. Okay. With realtors, it's something similar. You can't do it too often, but I like to do this thing called a save a deal video to all the realtors. I say, hey, do you have a transaction going sideways? Is the communication poor? I can fix it. I'll tell you in 24 hours or less if it can be done and how long it'll take to get it done. Give me a call right away, literally day or night. That's a save a deal video. Who sent one of those out recently? I think I believe I assigned it to some of the students that I coach. And I did one recently and I got 3 leads off of it. Now, none of them turned into a loan, but it did turn into somebody calling me and asking me questions. And what I did was validate the other lender, but there's nothing wrong with that. They trust me. So there was value in it. Okay. Okay. So back to our pillars. So have all your 4 pillars. Let's see. Somebody else raised their hand. Frank, what were the 4 pillars you wrote down?
Mine obviously are the realtors, and then I've been touching a lot on my previous clients. So PCRs, PCs, current client referrals. Those are the
so we
main
call that
ones.
Database. Database is all encompassing, you guys. Database also includes personal friends, it's your spirits, everybody you know, basically.
Yep.
Okay. All right. What else?
What I need to focus on is generating business from other areas. So like the Facebook ads. So that's going to be a focus. That's somewhere I got to focus on.
Okay, so you need to, I want you to be more defined on it. So are you going to specifically focus on social media or are you going to buy ads?
I haven't figured that out yet. That's what I got to learn.
Okay, so I want you to get advice on it from a coach as soon as possible. And I want you to line up. It's got to be very definitive because you want to know what that pillar is, how many leads you're going to get from it,
Yeah.
and then what your action steps are. We're going to boil this down in a minute about the action steps. But I've talked about marketing calendar, and we've talked about the daily, weekly, and monthly, quarterly rhythms. So most of the stuff we do is going to be on a daily and weekly rhythm, sometimes monthly. And so, Frank, I want you to get a lot more definitive on what you're doing there. Like if it was social media, one, you start learning how to do it right now. When I say do it, like what are you going to do? Most people post on multiple places, either weekly, sometimes daily. It's like it's over the top. And then you can also buy targeted Facebook leads if you want. It actually works. And then set yourself a rhythm, and then you got to start working. Usually you have to have some kind of persona or storyline. Like I presented myself, I'm the wealth building guy. So if you want to grow your wealth, get a hold of me. That's a natural one for us in the mortgage business because people are concerned about their money. Okay. All right. Do you have a fourth pillar?
Well, that was the CC, well, the database, and then I guess the next one would be builders. I'm starting to focus on builders, trying to get in as a quote unquote preferred lender,
Okay.
to get some more business that way. So
So
and
this
I
is
got
a new
one
pillar of
solid lead
business
right
for
now.
you, right? Okay.
I'm sorry?
This is a new pillar of business. You haven't done builders before?
Yeah, it's more of a, yes, exactly. It's more of a trying to get in on the preferred side as a preferred lender. We don't really have chain builders in Santa Fe, but now that I'm like in other markets where we do have like the chain builders, I call them, that's where I'm trying to get in. I've had to expand my net.
So Frank, I want you to put a lead goal down per month of what you want to get out of builders, and you're gonna probably have to work your way up to that.
Okay.
Then there's tactics or action steps along where you're pursuing the builders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not simple, but it's not complicated. You need a list of all the builders, and you need to somehow reach all of them on a mass scale, just like you do with realtors, like through emails or videos, and then start visiting and have a certain number that you're going to meet with every single week.
Right.
All right. And then once you get up to your lead goal, then you just start backfilling that area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you have to grow to your lead goal on that one.
Yep.
Okay. So Chelsea, are you still on here? Or did she go away? Well, you guys were hiding because maybe I didn't make this fun enough.
Yeah, she had to leave, she said.
That's okay. Let's see. I want to get one more person. Let's see. John, did you write all yours down? Okay. What's your 4 pillars?
4 pillars are realtor business, social media, past client, and builders.
Okay. Those are all really good. So I want you to figure out how many of leads you want to come from each one. If you look at the lead thing that I put up front, the goal line database is CCR, PCR, and past client and personal friends. So if you see what I have there, I have 15 leads coming from database. I have 10 coming from business, which is in my case mostly business because there's hardly any builders in my market, and then it's weighted heavily in realtors.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And I'm going to feed all of them with social media. And then a specific pillar, which is also realtor, is going to be Tuesday updates. So I do Tuesday update calls and I do Tuesday update videos to all parties. And I always include the escrow agent or the title attorney, depends on what market I'm in. And then by including them, who are usually chosen by the listing agent, I'm connecting those two and edifying them. And then I can chase one or the other. And that helps me. All right. And all those people drop into my database and I do drip campaigns on them. So once I have a transaction, I move the escrow agent into my business category and I move the realtor into the realtor category. Does that make sense? And so when I send a video out to all the business people, it goes to all those folks. And it's pretty much similar. It's almost the same thing I would send to a realtor or my database, but it goes just to that group. Sometimes I customize it just for that group. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, cool. But the important part is I do it once a month. So you get to see my pretty little face once a month. And it's short enough that most of them listen to it.
Yeah.
Now listen, I'm working on this just like everybody else, guys. I want to get way more intelligent about AI, pun intended. I want to use it properly, and I want to do way more on social media. I'm considering looking at buying Facebook ads as well. But I know this, that the more I contact people, the more I'm seen, the more leads I'm going to get, period. So
question.
across all pillars, I'm going to use social media and AI to spread the word amongst all those groups. And I'm going to use our system, which is Surefire, to get out to all of them as well. But I don't have everybody in Surefire, so I have to use social media to capture them. And once I capture them, I can put them in Surefire, and then I can plug them into our systems. Does that make sense?
Are you using something on AI right now?
Well, every week I'm sure I delegate it a little bit, John, so I don't know, but I know I do something on Facebook, and I know I do Instagram. I don't know if I do anything else. I'm pretty sure I don't.
Okay.
All right. Listen, I am not an expert at that, so I unfortunately can't coach you guys at a great level, but I'm going to get really good at it. That's my goal for 2024 is to become a master of AI and how you use it. Oh, Chelsea's back. Thank you, Chelsea.
Well,
You saved me.
Coach, that's what I was kind of going to ask you, because I kind of struggle with that on my end, trying to learn that skill. It just really feels like super way over my head. But are you just like comfortable? Hey, I'm just write a check and let somebody else do this for me.
No, I'm going to learn it myself.
Okay.
And let me analogize it this way. When I started the business, I did everything in the loan from start to finish, including ordering appraisals and title reports and all that stuff, because I wanted to know everything and I wanted to figure out the most efficient way. And that's just the best way to learn. I fought every battle. I read every guideline. So you want to learn it yourself. And so I have to mark time in my calendar to do that. And I already have time blocked in my calendar to learn this. This is a separate but important tactic around business building. Because whatever you do, working on your business, you've got to block time for it. And so as you do this business plan, I want you to have your pillars figured out. Every pillar should have a marketing calendar, a lead goal per month associated with it, and then a daily and a weekly and monthly action step, and then sometimes quarterly and semi-annually, annually, like the client events. All right. So once you have your pillars, you have your marketing calendar for each one, and then it boils it down to your daily activities, which honestly, guys, it's your theme days. I mean, I don't want to, don't complicate it. But inside those theme days, you can add maybe on Friday or Thursday or whatever. That's the day that you do all your social media stuff. And then I do my learning stuff, my learning on Monday afternoons and Friday afternoons. Now, I'm usually pretty tired on Friday afternoon, but I get really interested in new stuff. All right. And that's when I would time block, say, an hour to learn more about that particular subject, Frank. So let's hear Evan, I'll get you in a second. I wanted to hear from Chelsea. Chelsea, what are your 4 pillars of business?
Mine are realtors, business to business people, Tuesday updates, and database.
Perfect. That's basically what mine are. Now, every one of you, now that you have your pillars, and Evan, did you have a question about the pillars of business?
Yeah, I might have missed it, but I was just curious on what your 4th pillar, because I have realtors, database, business people, and what was your 4th one?
I actually, what Chelsea just said, I called it Tuesday updates. I'm
Gotcha,
gonna actually make the Tuesday update system a pillar of my business.
Gotcha.
And here's why. It's been a pillar of my business. I just haven't. I'm just gonna put it on steroids.
Gotcha.
It's been the most effective thing I've done to build my business. So I'm going to convert it to a pillar. A lot of people think that social media and AI is a pillar. I think it can be the sales funnel. I think the sales funnel feeds all the pillars. That's what I really think. So it should be right below you. Here's your pillars. It should be the very first thing. It's like a part of the marketing calendar. What are you doing around how you're using social media, AI? You're going to hear more. You're going to hear more and more from Todd about sales funnel. The whole goal is to reach a lot of people, to funnel them down to the ones that you want to talk to make our time more efficient.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me years ago, I want to make 250 grand a year and I only want to work 20 hours a week. I go, that's a great business plan. There's nothing wrong with that. I wrote down in 2014, I want to make $1 million a year and only work 25 hours a week in the mortgage business. And I executed on a plan and it worked. And so you can, that's okay too. You don't have to work 40 hours a week. There's nothing wrong with saying I want to work 25 hours a week. I had to do it because I had to spend the rest of the time running a branch and be a coach. And I'm fine with that. My other 25 hours. But whatever you put on paper is going to happen, Evan. So that was a long way of answering it. But what I've noticed is that Tuesday updates, it can become a pillar of your business because it is a pillar of your business. All right. Now, above each pillar, I want you to write down the number of leads you're going to get from them and what the source is. And that's how you're going to fill out your goal line. One of the weaknesses I have noticed being a coach at Next Level is the goal line is not focused on in coaching. And those of you who I've coached that didn't turn in your lead tracker, and I chew you out for not turning in. And then when you turn it in with no goal line, I chew you out because I coach off of that. And if you put down 25 realtor leads and you've only got 10 and it's the 20th of the month and you've only converted 2 of them, that's a problem. We're going to focus on that. I'm going to give you assignments around fixing that. I'm going to ask you about your pillars of business. I'm going to say, what are you doing? And I'm going to assign something that would come off of a marketing calendar. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So each pillar, you have to have the number of leads that are going to come from it. Then I want you to fill out your goal line. So your pillars of business, marketing calendar, action steps, and the number of leads from each pillar. That's what I want you to take away from this call today. And that is your business plan. All right. Do you guys all feel like we've done that for the most part today?
Yeah.
Did we pause and write down the number of leads and fill out the goal line? Did we do that yet? Sean, did you do it? Okay. Now, here's the +1. Let's talk about how we're going to teach this to real estate agents. You guys want that one? Okay. So you're going to do something similar to what I just did. You're going to sit down with them and you're going to talk about their pillars of business. You're going to talk about daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, annual rhythm. You're going to talk about a marketing calendar. You're going to talk about how many leads they need to hit their goal. And then you're going to design their activity level on a weekly rhythm. And we all know it, that the realtor lead tracker is very similar to the lender lead tracker. The realtor greatness tracker is very similar to the lender greatness tracker. And the theme days are almost exactly the same. The only difference is their VIPs Monday and Friday. If they have Tuesday updates, they have their pre-approvals, or in their case, that's like active listings that aren't under contract or active buyers that aren't under contract. And then they have database. They're woefully disorganized as a group, worse than us. We're not that great, are we, people? We could all get way better. I know I could get better, and I've been doing this for years. But almost all the realtors I talk to, I'm head and shoulders above them in business planning because I've been doing it for so many years, and we do execute. Like, we have a rhythm. I come to work every day. I have a team meeting. I have a calendar, and I do my calls. So that's what you all have on them. So when you teach them, I want you to teach them to have 4 pillars of business. Now, here's the secret sauce. I've got a whole bunch of examples of pillars they can have. You guys want that? I've shared this before. Did everybody know what they are? Okay.
Open houses?
I'm going to give you 9 examples. They only need 4. And tell them that they need 4. I like to use the analogy of a stool and a chair. A 3-legged stool is pretty sturdy, but I can knock it over easier than I can knock over a 4-legged chair. And what I'm really saying to you is your business is weaker if it's only got 3 pillars instead of 4. So use that analogy. Okay? Obviously, a two-legged chair, one-legged chair is very unsteady. You will find in quizzing people, especially yourselves, that sometimes we only focus on one pillar of business. We focus a ton on just realtors, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, you can get started, you can get off the ground with just realtors, but that's not, you can't live on that. You got to spread it out and you got to do all this other stuff. I wouldn't say we've ignored it, but we've had to hone in so hard on realtors. And here's why: realtors and builders, like Frank and Cleo have this, not everybody does. Builders and realtors are the closest to the transaction. Attorneys aren't always that close. A realtor is right next to it. There's a statistic that says that I think people use the lender, that the realtor refers them 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a reason to be referred by the realtor. I like to tell a realtor when they say I give 3 names, I go, well, gosh, that doesn't work. Why not? Well, because people use the realtor referral 80% of the time. I don't see how that would work with 3 people. That's 240%. That doesn't add up. I'm joking with them because I like to confuse people with math, but what I'm really saying is only give them one name and make it, if it's not mine, just make it one. All right. So you guys can use that.
Hey,
All
Dave,
right. So when yes.
So one thing that I've used in the past when I'm comfortable is I've told the realtor, when you give out 3 different lender names, imagine giving the home buyer, giving them 3 bowling balls to hold. It's too much.
It's a good one.
Just pick one. If it's not me, just stick to one and you're going to close more business.
I always ask why. Well, my broker told me to. Why I always give out 3 names? Why? Here's the real answer. They're afraid that none of you are good enough and that you're going to make them look bad. So if somebody makes them look bad, well, I gave you 3 names. They're not always that great. That's really the answer. So when I hear that, I ask, why do you do that? Do you mind if I offer a different solution? So I got a guy that does it because he helped me buy my first house before I was ever in that business. He still gives 3 names, but he always says this. He goes, I have to give you 3 names, but Dave's the guy I always use. That's what he says. So I never have a problem with him. So, and I'm fine with that if you teach him how to do that.
Give him 3 names: Dave, Mr. Kammerer, or Dancing Dealin' Diamond Dave.
Yeah, that's Cleo came up with that the other day. You guys can tell I've known Cleo for a while. Okay, so I want you guys to do your own business plan like this, but I want you to find the tool for the realtor lead tracker, and I want you to help realtors do their own business plan. I can do this in half an hour. I'll sit down with them and do the same thing I'm doing with you. So here's an example of some pillars. 4 is great. 3 or less may not make it. Just tell them that. Then you want to find out how many transactions they want to do. Their number is way low. So if they say 10, great. Realtor conversion rate is a little bit worse than ours. It's more like 10 or 15%. So if you use 10, if they get 10 leads, they close 1 deal. The truth is they just don't follow up with the goddamn leads.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. But so if you want to use a low bar, use 10 for 1 deal. And then, that tells them they got to get 30 leads to close 3, because most of them want to close 3. 3 deals a month for a realtor is a nice income. If the math works out to about 250 to 300 grand for most of them. All right. So here's some pillars. Lead gen like Zillow or Whitley or Google Leads or Realtor.com. Those are starting to go by the wayside, but people still believe in it. All right. These are examples. VIPs, just like ours. All right. Explain to them what a VIP is. All right. VIP is different from your sphere. It's people you really like. They're people you'd want to go on vacation with, or people you have to hang out with, like your family. Ha, right? Chelsea thinks that's funny. Attorneys, they miss this one all the time. Family law, trust, contract, corporate attorneys. I give it to you all the way. Family law attorneys, shit for a realtor. Sometimes 1 divorce can be 2 or 3 transactions. Or a lot more, depends on how many property they own. This gal I met with her. She was a brand new realtor. I think it was earlier this year or late last year. It wasn't much more than a year ago. And I gave her some ideas on who to chase. She got a lead from a family, a trust attorney. A guy had died, and his family, they all live out of town. They said, just sell all the property. She got a lead for 14 properties to sell. She's going to sell 14 properties between November and March. And the attorney said, use this gal, and she has all those as listings, and she gets to stagger them and put them out when she wants to. She doesn't list them all at once. She goes, hey, let's work. She got to coordinate it. She got advice from her principal broker. It's the biggest lead she's ever got in her life. And she called me up and said she gave me credit for it. She goes, Dave, I never would have called that trust attorney if you hadn't suggested that. How about that? I'm still calculating how much money I made her. I also look back, I only got 2 leads from her this year, so I'm really working on that one too. But you tell that story. It's a true story. Okay. Database and Sphere. For them, it's the same thing. Sphere database. If they're new, like a new loan officer, then their Sphere is their database. Where's your database at? Chelsea, it's right in here, isn't it? It's your contact list. I looked on my contact list. There's like 2,700 contacts on my phone. That's a lot. I know I need to pare that down. Keep adding. Okay, just like us, business people, a leads group. All right, that's at 5 pillars we're at already. 5 ideas. Number 6, contractors. Not builders. That's a separate one. Contractors. Roofer, HVAC. These are people they're going to need anyway. But if they like that realtor, they're going to get leads from that person. Contractors talk to homeowners all the time. God, I'm sick of this house. I'm thinking about selling this house. Or I'm fixing it because I'm thinking about selling it. Oh, do you have a realtor? No, I don't. Well, I've got one over here for you. Plumbers, HVAC. Put those guys in your sphere. I put that out there. I haven't had one realtor yet say, Dave, I've never thought of that before. Or, I've thought of that before. They all say the same thing. I've never thought of that before. I would never would have thought of that group of people. I'm like, why wouldn't you? Probably because most of them are flakes, but we didn't say that. But imagine if you had, I don't know, 20 tradespeople out there that you're active every month. You send them a video, and every time they send you a lead, you send them a juicy little candy bar or something or whatever, and then you send them business when you need it, right? They're going to turn into your sales force. They're going to have a heightened awareness for if somebody wants to buy or sell a house, and they're going to tell you about it, right? Okay, so that's contractors. That's number 6 in the examples of pillars. Builders is number 7. We all know about builders. Builder reps. Oh, but they already have a realtor, builder rep. But what's the number one thing, Cleo, that a realtor can get from a builder rep realtor? They can get listings.
Listings. To go back to an on-site builder and say, hey, give me the list of all your stale leads. I promise I'll do my best to bring them back to your community.
Rebecca, you have to edit that one comment out, okay?
Okay.
Not Cleo's, mine.
Got it.
Where I said F, yeah.
David, it's just a passion, man. It's just a passion.
I'm telling you, I hear this all the time. Well, they've already got a builder rep. They've already got a realtor. I'm like, I quit before I started. I love that Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Yeah.
What's it hurt? Dayton Schrader, friend of mine and Cleo's, that guy has built a monumental size business off exactly that. Most every builder, Jayton told me this, every builder he worked with now, at one point, he talked to the builder realtor rep for some other company and got in with them and just stuck with it. Now, he's smart. He's a builder rep, and then he has a team that takes care of all the listings. He doesn't dole those out to somebody else. Okay, cool. That's number 7. Number 8, other realtors. That can be a pillar of business. Other realtors in other markets. A lot of people work in markets like ours where people are coming from other areas or moving to other areas. There was an exodus from Oregon to Idaho for a long time because Oregon was so brilliant in how they decided to do their corporate taxes. Ran a bunch of people out of town. I've been mapping this because I have these realtors all over the country that I know. I've handed out $90,000 in realtor referral fees this year to local realtors by getting them a realtor like in another state that they didn't know. and got a 25% referral fee on that deal. So I give them that example. So when I'm telling somebody, a realtor, that, I'm weaving in why you should work with me too. It's telling them that's a pillar of business. That's number 8. Then number 9, we already talked about it, social media. Social media can definitely be a pillar of business for a real estate agent. And I see a lot of them doing it. I got connected recently to somebody who does this thing called the American Dream TV show, and I started watching it, and there's a couple realtors and a lender that does it. And I'm getting some advice on it. It's a Emmy-nominated show, and it actually is really, really good. It looks like it can generate a lot of leads. There's my daughter became a lender recently, and she connected with this gal up in Portland. She has almost 4,000 inquiries over the last year. She can't get to them all. People asking her about property. Now, those aren't all leads, but out of those 4,000 inquiries that saw her on the American Dream Home Show, there's got to be 20 or 30 or 40 deals in there. There's got to be. She's not utilizing that properly. There's a guy in San Diego who does. He does like 15 or 20 units a month, and that's all he does is this American Dream Show. And he cherry picks his deals. So there you go. Those are 9 examples of pillars of business that you can give to realtors. So we've got our business plan. We've lined it out. We know how many leads we need to get each month. And now we can help the realtor do the same thing. Keep it really simple. Help them with their pillars. Help them with their theme days. Help them with their marketing calendar. And help them with what they got to do every single day. How many leads they got to track.
Dave, I thought you said you were going to give us 10 pillars.
I said 9. Did I say 10?
No,
I
you
don't think I
said
said
9.
I think
You
I said 9.
Okay. Can I give you 10? Can I give you
I'm
one
a
more?
numbers guy. If you have another one, I'm sure we could come up with more. Actually, you
have
know what? I do have more.
Okay. But wait, there's
Expired
more.
listings can be a pillar. There's
Expired
number 10.
listings. Didn't you say 11?
I have 12. Home buyer education is 11. You'll love this one. Demographic and geographic farming is a pillar. Demographic and geographic. Demographic is you're attacking a certain demographic. Geographic obviously is an area. Farming. And guess what? I got one more. Home buyer education. That can be a pillar of business. There you go, Cleo. Is that 13?
It's
Yeah, it is.
12. You
Yeah.
said home buyer education twice.
Boom.
Oh, I did? Okay.
It's okay. We don't need to end on 13.
No, we don't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 2 minutes left. I didn't leave much time for Q&A, but nobody has any questions. Does anybody have a question?
How long did it take you to get this awesome, Dave?
For me, it's been 60 years.
That was quick.
I love you guys. I can tell you this. I love coaching, and I love our industry. I love our business, and I love our company. I mean, it's really a lot of fun. So,
And we
I
love
hope you guys
Dave.
got a lot out of this. Now, listen, go pay this forward to everybody.
Mhm.
All right.
It really takes you 30 minutes. That's my only question. It takes me an hour. If I'm doing this with a team, it's like 2 hours.
I book an hour and I get it done in 30 minutes and then I let them run. I did
Got
one
it.
yesterday. It was 30 minutes. I had all this laid out and then I just spent the rest of the time letting her ask questions and I'm sitting there wowing her.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen,
makes
it's
sense.
not that hard. Just copy some of the
No.
stuff that I said. There's a few little things I was weaving in there. Always weave something in. Don't be blatant. Use me why. Use examples, stories. This is something that Robin's really good at, and I've gotten really good at it, is you frame everything in a positive fashion and you tell a story, and it helps for it to be a true story. But I told you guys a story about a new real estate agent who got 14 listings and she has control of when she's going to sell them. That's a barn burner for anybody. And when you tell that story, it could be my story, but it could be yours because who's going to check anyway? But it's a true story, right? I don't know. Every realtor I've said that to, their ears go whoosh. They just catch on fire. What did you do? And all it was chasing trust attorneys. That's it. That's one piece of one pillar of business. All right. So the lottery can hit anytime. Any other questions? Was that good enough for you, Rebecca? Is what you wanted?
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, let's call it a day, people. Go forth and conquer.